This video recaps the first part of Unit 4, Lesson 11, How to Plot Points in Quadrant 1. In today's Do Now, which we talked about for a lot of class, we practiced plotting the following points. For example, if we're to plot the point 1, 3, we know that 1 is our x-coordinate, or how far we move side to side along our x-axis. So I'll start by finding 1 on my x-axis, and then I know that 3 is my y-coordinate, or how far up and down I'll move along my y-axis. Then I'll line up 1 on my x-axis with 3 on my y-axis to plot point A. Now, let's rewind a little bit and talk about some of the major vocabulary here. These are notes that you should have in your notebook with the date 3-4 or 3-5 if you're in period 5. There's a few vocabulary words you need to know for this unit. The first is the x-axis. That's the axis that runs horizontally or from side to side. Second is the y-axis. That's the axis that runs vertically or up and down. When you draw quadrant 1 of a coordinate plane, that looks like this. It's just the graph that you might have seen before in 5th grade, where we graph positive x and y values. You know that we have our x values along the x-axis, which runs side to side, and our y values along the y-axis, which runs up and down. Then, when we look at a coordinate pair, x, y, so two numbers, we know that our x value tells us how far side to side, and our y value tells us how far up and down. Take a second, pause this video if you need to, and make sure you have these notes in your notebook. It's going to be really helpful as we move through all of our lessons about graphing coordinate pairs. Let's return to the Do Now questions for some more examples. Let's say that you want to graph the point 8, 5. Again, I know that my first number is my x. A good way to remember that is that x comes before y in the alphabet. So I'll find 8 on my x-axis, and I'll find 5 on my y-axis. I need to go to the point where they meet. Now, a lot of students are drawing these lines to help them. See that point B is at the intersection of 8 on the x-axis and 5 on the y-axis. Another way to think about this is we're moving 8 spaces right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then we're moving 5 spaces up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because our coordinate pair is 8, 5. It's okay to use all these extra lines to help you find the point. But the great thing about Desmos and doing all of this online is we can erase those lines when we're finished. So we know that we use them to help line up our point, but having them all on our graph is going to make things a little cluttered. The next example we have is 10, 0. The 10 tells us that we need to move 10 spaces to the right. Find my 10 on the x-axis. And the 0 tells me that I don't need to move up or down at all because my y-coordinate, my amount up or down, is 0. So point C, 10, 0, will be right here. And finally, I need to plot the point 4, 7. By now, you should be starting to realize the pattern. 4 is the number side to side, the x value. 7 is how far up or down we go. So I'm going to count over to 4 on the x-axis, and I'll trace my pencil up till I reach 7 on the y-axis. And that's where I'll point plot D, 4, 7. And again, I'm going to erase the extra line so it doesn't clutter up my graph. Remember, the x-axis runs side to side. We should always have it labeled when we can. And the y-axis runs up and down. Look below this video for directions on what to do if you missed class today and how you can get some more practice graphing in quadrant 1.